Band of Brothers is an HBO miniseries that follows the story of Easy Company, 506th Regiment, 101st Airborne Division, and their mission during World War II in Europe from Operation Overlord through VJ Day. The series is based on historian Stephen E. Ambrose's 1993 nonfiction book of the same name. The series dramatizes the history of Easy Company and is based on Ambrose's research and recorded interviews with Easy Company veterans. The characters in the series are all based on members of Easy Company, and therefore the fates of the characters conform to the persons that they are drawn from. To maintain historical accuracy, the writers of the show conducted additional research, with one source being the memoir of Easy Company soldier David Kenyon Webster. The cast portraying soldiers was also put through a 10-day boot camp. And also, most actors had contact before filming with the individuals that they were to portray on the show. However, alterations were made to fit the historical events into one TV miniseries.
Standing in the door, I could see the lights on the drop zone, and I had to assume that was our drop zone, way ahead of us. And so that we had the red light, had everybody standing up, ready to jump. So when the plane started to get hit, and suddenly the pilot gives me the green light, I'm out the door immediately.
Got such an opening blast from or opening shock from the prop blast that it broke this chin strap that we had on this helmet liner, and that's when I lost this famous leg bag that everybody talks about just from the shock of the opening. It just flew right off my foot.
We came from the sky, we hit, and in any direction you went, there would be enemy. You knew it. And that was all part of what you accepted.
The second episode of Band of Brothers focuses on the involvement of Easy Company in the Normandy invasion and their assignment to take out the German artillery installation on D-Day. On June 6, 1944, Allied paratroopers dropped out of the sky to begin one of the most crucial military campaigns of World War II. The episode begins with the Easy Company paratroopers in planes and en route to Normandy. They were set to drop in Drop Zone Z, but instead were dropped in the area in St. Mary-Glise, where the 82nd Airborne was scheduled to jump and land. The show then follows the actions of Lieutenant Winters, who stick jumps just east of St. Mary-Glise. Winters is not shown wearing a reserve parachute on the jump, when in reality few opted to jump without it. His depicted landing in the show was also much softer than it was in real life. When he lands, he meets the supply sergeant of Company F, but in the series, the trooper, Private John Hall, is misidentified as being from A Company. Lieutenant Winters then linked up with the others on the ground, leading the way, but in real life, Sergeant Bill Guarnier was lead scout with Winters following. As they were traveling along their way, they met an enemy of Ost volunteers and horses, and there was a small shootout. However, not nearly as many shots actually occurred in comparison to the amount depicted in the show. Less than 5 enemies actually went down due to American fire. The men ended up in another fight for the guns at Brecourt Manor. A German battery was stationed here. To ease problems faced by the Allies, Lieutenant Winters and his men were tasked with destroying this artillery position. The 4 howitzers at Brecourt Manor were well positioned and linked in trenches and covered by machine guns. The fight against the Germans was carried out by only about a dozen Easy Company men. Don Malarkey of Easy Company commented that the action depicted was even more intense than what he recalled. The action was eventually broken off because the men were out of ammunition. The assault on the artillery position was a success, with limited men killed or injured during battle. The rest of the series continues to follow Easy Company up until the moment they learn the news of the war's end during a game of baseball. The 10-part series finally wraps, when the brave men of Easy Company can finally be at ease.